Welcome to the Structural Engineering Podcast, episode 2.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Heck yeah.
Every week or so, Zach and I get together to talk about what's going on in structural engineering. Sometimes it's technical, sometimes maybe we're getting to some interviews we're hoping to.
Yeah.
Kind of all across the board.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about getting your first structural engineering job.
Yeah, last podcast we went over, like what was the first week like? If you didn't see that, you should go watch Max peed his pants. So you definitely have to see that
on
one.
camera.
On camera, yeah. But,
and I think this kind of came up as like, how do you get that first job? It's cool to, how do you handle your first week, but how do you get there?
Yeah, you get a degree in engineering. Like, what does that mean?
What's in between?
What do you do?
So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going there. So, I don't know. Let's get into it. I think I'll start by asking you.
Yeah.
I don't know how we want to frame this, but like.
I think last time you went first was only fair. I go first this time.
Ladies first.
Yeah, ladies first.
That's why I went first last time. What, okay. All right. You graduated or you're about to graduate. You applied for jobs. You said last time you applied for a lot.
I did.
How did you apply for these jobs? How did you find the jobs?
So.
Sorry, how'd you find
I think that's a good point. That's a good place to start. Google.
You Googled.
I Googled the places I wanted to live.
I need a job.
No. I Googled. So I wanted to live in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Google and I looked at different cities in Colorado, and I said Denver structural engineers, and I just looked for offices.
You were just going by firms. You weren't looking on job boards.
I was not looking for jobs.
That's
looking
a cool
at firms. Yeah, I was looking at firms. Cool or not, really. Just like looking at firms, and I guess I kind of went through their profile and was like, okay, what do they do? Like, am I gonna like this? Like, I don't know what I want to do. Figured bigger is better.
No, yeah.
Like, right? Like, we're like building
with everything.
Building, yeah, bigger is better. So, like, I did that. I did a bunch of research on just finding firms, and then like going to their career page and like finding if they had an introduction job.
Did you send any emails to people that didn't have an intro job out?
Majority.
Yeah.
Probably 70% of people did not have one, but it said, "Please reach out to us. We have no open positions, but the right person, we'll hire." And that was like what I kept seeing. So I was like, okay, well, I need a job, so I could.
You must be the right person.
I must be the right person. So I applied to. I sent a lot of emails. I had so many. I kept track with a spreadsheet. Like firm name, location, why I was interested, and like a lot of data points on the firms.
Yeah.
So that if they got back to me, I had like at least what I was, and that's probably not the best way to go about it. Like initially, like just massing out, but I did that in California, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, and Colorado.
How many people responded just to say, no, we don't have a position. Thanks for this anyway, and have a nice.
That's actually really interesting. So, there was probably, out of the 80, probably 10 to 15, maybe 20 did that.
That's
I got
good.
3 companies that sent me letters saying that they were not hiring at the time and that they apologized.
That's nice.
Letters. I was like, I got them in the mail. I'm like, is this like a job offer?
They don't even want to talk.
Like, why are they mailing me? But, once you get into the industry, you realize, like, mailing someone is such it really still means a lot.
In a nice way.
Very formal in a nice way. Yeah, so like when you get denied by a university or you get accepted by a university, they send you a letter.
It's like the little packet, the big packet. You get
exactly
a little packet from the job. You're like,
all right, size matters.
Well, thank you.
Big packet. Big packet.
Oh, no.
You're getting that spot at the university. But anyways, so I got some letters. I got some emails back. Of course, I'm not going to get a job offer or interview with all these companies. So anyways, I had a resume that fit pretty well with most of the companies. I tweaked it a little bit. And then the cover letter was more or less the same.
Really?
I had no clue.
Swap out the name of the company? Or did you even mention it? It was like,
I did. I mentioned it a couple times
in
there. Yeah. And then I was like, well, most of it's generic. And cover letters, like now knowing, like most cover letters are just there to help explain if the resume doesn't tell the full story.
Yeah.
So if like someone was like, I did that, on the resume it was like, I did this for 5 years and it wasn't engineering, the cover letter should explain why. Right? So it's definitely a formality most of the time.
Yeah. I did the name swapping in cover letters and a couple times I would mess up the names and not swap all of them. And that was like obviously hard no. Like reject the email.
Every time I triple checked that, and then every time I sent out the email, I checked again because I was really nervous like that would happen. Like I would send the wrong cover letter to the wrong company, and I was doing so many. I was really worried. I'm sure I probably sent one or two. I never heard back from because of that.
Oh yeah.
But I was at the coffee shop like every day doing this.
Oh, man.
So like I was getting a lot out.
So out of sending out about 80, how many interviews did you get out of that?
Man, it's been a couple of years.
And
I want to say about 6.
Okay, and I don't know if you can pull this number out, but how many of those 6 had a posting up?
Ooh, I don't remember at all. Yeah,
that's hard.
I do remember some specific interviews though. So I had one in California, and I was like, okay, California, that sounds good. Yeah. I live in Washington. Like,
bring your surfboard.
Too far away. Surfboard, bike, fishing there's good. Yeah. Cycling there's good. Like that's me. Biking and fishing, like I'm in. All right, let's do it. Never been to California like that. It was in the Bay Area. I don't remember exactly where, but so I was like super excited. Like this guy wanted to give me an interview, phone interview. I'm like, cool, done. I prepared for it. I researched the company, did all this, got prepared. I get on the phone with him, and he's like super casual. He's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And this is the, kind of older guy. He's the principal there, and later I found out the firm is notorious for interviewing people and then turning down like everyone.
They just like to get a feel for.
Or they like over interview and then they just don't hire anyone. Like there's a whole bunch of reviews online about how bad this company was out. So if there's reviews about it, it's obviously happened a lot. So I interviewed with them. It was okay. It went okay. We were talking back and forth. He's like, "Oh yeah, you took these classes?" I was like, "Yeah." He's kind of going through my resume. So then it's my turn to ask questions, and to find out like majority of what they want to talk about is the same at every interview. They want to talk about your experience. Like some extra things you've done in school, who you are, what you're interested in beyond engineering. Make sure you're a good fit because that's really important. So after that, I started asking him questions. So I was like, okay.
Did you have good questions? Did you have anything prepared?
I had a whole bunch of prepared questions. Yeah. So beyond the ones about the firm, I started asking about the area and like salary, and was trying to get a good feel. Like the Bay Area is very expensive.
I feel like you're not supposed to ask about salary no matter what.
So it wasn't like blatantly like how much am I going to make. It was more like for your engineers that are starting, where do they live?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to get to that point. Yeah. So he like jumped up and was like, okay.
Away.
They usually commute 2 to 3 hours each way every day. And right then I was like, not going.
Never mind.
Not going. I'm not sitting in traffic 4 to 6 hours a day to work at a job. Like I was like totally turned off. So we kept talking. And I was like, okay, that seems pretty far away. He goes, yeah, even the guys that are kind of upper management kind of are living that far away. I was like, man, that's crazy. And, that includes traffic and stuff. So it's really like physical distance isn't crazy far. It's still far compared to like here in Colorado, we live 10 minutes away from work on a bike, right? But it was like, it was just ridiculous. And then he started talking about numbers. And he's like, well, you'd start off, you'd be somewhere in the 30s. I'm like, how are you supposed to live in California making 30, like it was like 38, 39, or like
everyone's
40
driving
maybe?
in Nevada. That's where you go.
Yeah, you live in Nevada. Like, I was like, what? How does anyone live there? Like, it's a very expensive place. So, that interview went, and like I said, like after he said that time people lived, how far away they lived, it's just like done.
Yeah.
I followed up with him in an email, thanked him and stuff, and said, let's stay in touch or whatnot, because you want to leave all the doors open. You don't want to like kill bridges or anything, or blow them up. Or,
I think it's burn them.
Burn them, kill them, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. So
don't kill a bridge.
That happened. Sent him an email and stuff. I heard back from there's a firm in Eugene, Oregon, and
nice.
I'm a big cyclist.
Yeah.
Grew up racing my bike and things like that, and rode mountain bike. And I was talking to kind of a mentor. He also raced bikes. I knew him for a long time in my life, and he owns a civil engineering firm. They just do like site stuff, no structural engineering. So I talked to him, and he put me in touch with someone that he had raced bikes against, and she worked at a firm. She was a principal of a firm in Eugene, Oregon. So I reached out to her. We had an interview, probably the best interview I've ever had in my life. Like, we hit it off. We talked about bikes. We talked about our mutual friend. And, like, it went super, super well. And then at the end of it, she was like, we're not hiring, though. I was like, come on. Really? Like, you're not hiring? And she goes, I'll keep you, like, on the top of our pile. List. Yeah, I'll keep you there. We have the same friend. He's very respectful in the industry. If he's suggesting you, like, this is huge, blah, blah, blah. You race bikes. Myself, my husband race bikes. Like, it's cool. Like, blah, blah, blah. So we kept in touch a little bit. After that, I ended up asking her, like, some more in-depth questions on the industry in general, beyond just, like, that interview. She was like, please reach out to me with any questions. Not only pertaining to the job, but, like, the whole industry. Yeah. So I did that. I don't really recall what they were, but, I think she helped me get a good feel of what, like, salaries were. Yeah. And things like that for kind of the region, for where they, in Oregon. So, interview there. The first interview I had, though, that really scared me was in Arizona. Arizona. So I was like, okay, cycling in Arizona. Yeah. It was Skype. Nice. Skype. So they could see me, I could see them. Skype interview. Firm was based in Arizona. And I was looking through the website. I was like, man, they do some cool buildings. Like, this is super cool. The university's there. And they designed, like, some university buildings. I was like, man, this is sweet. And it ended up, the company was based out of, like, the Midwest, I believe. And this was their, like, one office from far away that they had in Arizona. Like, the office was, like, 15 engineers. And it was pretty cool. So I met with the principals. I talked with them. Like, things were going really well. And then they wanted to test me. And this is where I was like, I've had some interviews quiz, already. Like a structural quiz, and to ask and they wanted to ask harder questions. So
do you remember what any of those were?
Okay, so I remember one. It was asking about where was the. It was something with an inflection point about a frame.
Yeah.
And what happens to the inflection point on the column, or it was like the max. Oh man, I wish I could remember, but. The column had a shear load on, or the frame had a load on it, and it was asking, like, the moment in the column. Where would you find that? It was, like, based off the inflection point, right? And so they said, okay, that sounds good. And I got that somehow correctly. I was so nervous. And all they were doing is testing that I could think critically, and I could think through it. And they were like, please talk out loud while you're thinking through this. And I did. And they were like, okay, that's awesome. And then they talked a little more. They're like, yeah, you hear this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. And they're like, okay, cool. And they said, okay, now this both has a shear load on the frame, so, load to push it over, plus it has a distribute load. Now what happens? Well, what it does is it reverses what's in the column. Just by having a distribute load. I have no clue how I knew that. We didn't do much frame stuff in school.
Yeah.
So I answered them right.
Questions are... How common would you say questions are in an interview? Would someone...
For my experience,
50-50. Okay,
50-50, yeah.
I think that's probably what my experience is as well, actually.
I think the firms that have asked me the hard questions are the places that really do crazy stuff. And my understanding
with the places you want to be.
Exactly. And the thing with that, too, is, like, they... So the firm I ended up getting a job to, and we'll get to that interview in a second, is the one that ended up, like... Eventually I found out that they only used to hire master's students. I didn't have a master's. And so I was one of the first people they hired without a master's. So I think a lot of the test part was even
just validating.
I should even be there. So I think that kind of is the same with the Arizona firm. Anyways, I interviewed with them with the one in Washington around the same time, and ended up going to the one in Washington for a ton of reasons. A lot of it, majority of it didn't do with the job.
Yeah,
like they both had great. They were both great. The starting salary was about the same, so. It wasn't a big change. The one in Arizona was actually going to pay for me to move there.
It's pretty nice.
Like a starting salary. Or like a starting bonus.
Yeah.
So like plenty of money to move there. It was me great. But then I interviewed with the firm in Washington, and they just like blew it out of the water. Sat down. All the principals were there. There was 5 people interviewing me.
That's impressive and intimidating.
Yeah. So the first time I interviewed with him was on the phone. I was in the same city as them. And they just like, let's just jump on the phone and interview. Let's do a quick phone interview.
5 people on the phone? Oh, you did? Really?
Yeah.
Sorry,
3.
Still.
3 people on the phone.
One-on-one.
And it lasted for about an hour and a half. And that's when I was like, okay, they really care about me.
willing to put this time in.
They're putting the time in. Like, that means a lot. Like, these guys,
for 3 principal level,
the highest people at
the
the firm spent that much time on the phone with me, and I was like, man, that means a lot. That interview was around like noonish, 3ish, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like an hour later, I got an email. I sent a follow up email, and I got an email like almost right back saying, Can you come in next Wednesday? It was like a Thursday. They're like, can you come in next Wednesday for an interview? I was like, man, all right, cool. So I ended up going in for the interview, and kind of sat down, super intimidated. Like, this is like the first like real big actually the only in person interview I had.
Really? Oh yeah, because
everything else is further away. Yeah, and I guess to add, I did have an interview on the phone with a firm in Colorado very shortly. Mm-hmm. I don't recall who it was. I really want to know now. I want to figure it out, because now we work in Colorado. Like, I feel like I probably know.
I want to say, okay, so you're going into this as your first actual in-person interview. Mm-hmm. Did you have prep for this? Did you wear a suit? Did you hype yourself up?
I wore a dress shirt and slacks and a belt.
How did you say
did
you look at their photos online and say?
I tried to, yeah. So I talked to my friend that I've known forever that was trying to help me, in the industry and stuff, and he was saying this day and age, ties are just, they're not really out. They're not really in. If you go overdressed, no problem. Like, don't show up in a tux or like a 5-piece suit. But like, if you show up with a tie and a dress shirt and slacks, like, that's no problem. Or show up in a suit.
Yeah,
that's fine. But don't go crazy, I think. And I think that still stands. I mean, you and I have helped interview people, right? And someone shows up in a tie or a dress shirt, like, it's fun, right? Like,
I think if they're...
Can you imagine if they're in a tux?
Well, I think even if they're if they're full suit with a tie and a jacket...
Totally fine.
I don't think it...
Really?
I think it feels weird. Because if everyone else in the room is wearing a flannel, because it's
think
Colorado...
If you went the opposite way, though. Like, he showed up in a flannel.
It'd be worse
and he showed up in a flannel and everyone there was in suits. Like, he has no clue, right?
Yeah.
And if you go to the current firm we work at
what you
website,
need to do
you don't know.
is you look in the window. You go to the office and take a peek.
Yeah.
And then you just do that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I guess go over.
Yeah.
Go overboard.
Like, to where you're comfortable with it. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if you go in, I'm a big proponent of more dressing up than I know you are. But I think when you dress up and you look good and you feel good, you're just so much more confident.
I like a button-down T-shirt. That's what I want to wear.
Yeah. With it's just printed on buttons. Yeah. But to me, you go in, you feel good, you look good, you're gonna you're just gonna put that off.
Yeah.
And maybe you feel more comfortable in a T-shirt than dress clothes. I don't think that's any problem. I think if you go in and you feel more comfortable, then that's all that really matters. I wouldn't show up in a tux. I think that Step Brothers.
Yeah. Bow ties are out.
Bow ties are out, but.
All right, then I have another question.
Yeah.
I kind of keep pulling you back here.
Yeah. That's probably good. I'll keep going.
Yeah. Resume. I wonder. So, what was on your resume? We know each other. And I know that you didn't have a lot of
zero interns.
Exactly.
Internships.
That's
zero. Not at all. I raced my bike every summer, and I worked for a friend's dad.
So what was on there?
I participated in Steel Bridge,
so
and I was one of the. I was kind of on the board of ASE. At the school. I don't remember what my position was. It wasn't very high up, but I kind of went and was part of that a little bit. And that was really it.
Did you have a work experience and it was just working for your friend's dad?
Yeah.
A section? It was,
that was it. Yeah.
And then club section.
I had
GPA.
I had helped him, so I helped him with one of his businesses building. Did some contracting work with him, a little bit.
That's a big one, actually.
And so I put that on there that I learned a lot of lessons. And there's something huge. This is a quick tangent, but that I learned that I will always think about is we're building 8-foot walls, right? So you just put up plywood, and these are just this was at a mall. These are just walls that we're putting up inside the store. Those are miniature golf.
Oh, nice.
No. So it's all wood.
Okay.
This is in Washington.
Wood. They got a lot of wood.
They got wood. They like wood out there. Anyway, so we pop. So I was like, okay, we bought 8-foot studs, right? So what did I do? I put a sill plate on, put a top plate on with 8-foot stud. No problem. I built probably 80 plus feet, linear feet on this. Probably more than that. So I was like, okay, good. First sheet of tile, boom. 3-inch gap at the top. Oh my gosh. So I put that on my resume to talk about.
What, that you hung drywall?
Or no,
what was on the resume?
To talk through, like,
on your cover letter?
Or no, in the resume that I worked there, and so I was working with a carpenter, but he didn't show up until after I did all these mistakes, and he laughed so hard. We ended up like cutting plywood and just filled that gap. It was really embarrassing, but I think it was very humbling because now I always think like I can engineer something, right? But really building it in the field is so much different.
Yeah,
so much different. We could engineer anything. We can't build it. Like at all, like just because you can engineer doesn't mean. And I think that's a big thing. Like I came out of school like, oh yeah, I can do whatever. You know, I can engineer it. I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I'll eventually be able to engineer, and I can build it better than anyone else, right? Like it was just like that kind of like that thought, and it's like no, no. So like in that interview, I had that on there, and they're like, oh, tell us about your experience of doing this. So it was a miniature golf course. I helped make not only the holes but all the dividing walls between it.
Yeah,
that was the wall issue.
So that's a great story for an interview.
Yeah, so they asked me, like, because I wanted to show to them that I learned from something, and I'm not. The biggest thing I think that anyone could do is tell things that they messed up on and how they did it, and they learned from it, and so I told them this big mistake I made that is super embarrassing, right? Like as an engineer, you made a wall 8'3" rather than 8 foot because you didn't think of the top and bottom. And that sounds so stupid, right? But when I was doing it, it just didn't. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, stud, boom, boom, and then pop it up, and it was like we're trying to rush it and not think about it and all that stuff. But like I sat there and I told them the story, and they're laughing, right? They're like, oh, that's so stupid, you know. Like, and I was like, I know, you know. And I said, you know, I've learned that just because you think like really quickly, like, oh yeah, let's just boom, boom, boom. Like you really need to slow down and think about something as simple as building a stud wall, right? And I think that's something like in engineering too. Is like it may look super simple, but there might be more to it.
Yeah.
On the thing for the wall, it was just that. Like it was that simple. Like each stud just needed to be cut 3 inches and then like built. But that was something. And the like my friend's dad that I worked for is amazing guy. He didn't get frustrated or upset or angry with me. Nothing. He was like,
"Don't do that."
Really learned that one, didn't you? And, you know, he made fun of me like, "Aren't you an engineer or going to be one?" You know, I wasn't one yet, or working as one. And he was like, "What?" You know, like he was kind of confused. But he totally agreed that he probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
So
the first time,
it was totally okay.
Like,
but I think in the interview, showing like a weakness and like being open about it showed to them that during my career with that firm, when I messed up on stuff, I was gonna be open about it. Yeah. I think that is so big.
And it's beating them to like that very typical question, which is weird to answer, is like, what are your greatest weaknesses? Which is terrible. You know, I don't think anyone should even ask that, but it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
Without having to go through the awkward question.
100%.
If they had that in there, you know, if they were gonna ask it, they weren't gonna anymore. Right?
So they always have those awkward questions, and they like. And what's funny is like every interviewer laughs about it. Like, hey, so like, what was like a thing you worked through once in a group that was difficult?
Yeah, it's almost awkward now because it's like so staged.
It's funny.
Those questions.
And they're I get why they're trying to start a conversation, right? To then dig in and like really get to know you, but I think there's better ways than asking these really awkward but they're helpful because you can prepare for them.
Yeah.
So you should definitely go into an interview knowing those very basic.
Should be your kickoff for like a story or like a better conversation.
So I think the biggest thing I learned there is like telling people, especially within engineering, things you've learned and faults and failures and stuff like that, and just being open about it is huge.
Yeah.
It's totally huge. Like, hey, I messed up on this, and luckily that was just funny, right? It wasn't life or death that I made the wall too tall, but I think that was a huge thing in the interview.
Yeah.
They also quizzed me, or had a little kind of test for me.
Yeah.
So one of the principals that was there was like, all right, test time. And the rest were like laughing. They're like, no, you know, like we used to really dive in deep on people and like really ask them hard questions. But like, I don't think we really need to do that. And one principal was like, no, let's just ask them a couple questions. So they asked me I don't remember all of them, but I really remember he goes, what is ductility to you? What does ductility mean? And I kind of was like, well, it means like when the building starts going, it's got a little extra. That's what I told him. I was like, your steel beams will go a little further than they really are supposed to.
It's
like there's more
alluding to yielding without the
without the word. But I'm in this interview nervous.
Yeah,
right? I'm so nervous. And they're like, what's ductility? I'm like,
a little extra.
It's like when your beams are ductile. I really said that. I'm pretty sure. Oh God. What's ductility to you?
It's like when your beer, it's like it's real good.
What does cold mean to you? It's like when my beer is cold. What?
It's got that. It's a little more.
Yeah, so I like elaborate. I kept talking, and they just had their quiet. They like gave me the time to talk, right? And like kept going at it, and they're like, okay, well, really, we're looking for this, but like you touched it, just not like exactly, right? I was like, okay, what's another question?
You nicked all the edges.
Like they were okay with it. They didn't have any problem with it. Then they asked me a couple other questions, on the same like define a word that is some and it really was coming to they do massive high seismic projects.
Yeah.
Right. So if I didn't know what ductility was, that's a huge issue, right? Like a lot of big projects are made out of steel or concrete, and I mean every system ductility matters in high seismic. Mm-hmm. That is what really drives it. And so like just me understanding what that meant was like, okay, he doesn't have a master's, but he knows at least what ductility is.
Yeah.
So, anyways, very long story there. Interview went really well. Super nervous, and I asked them some questions. Asked them like where they worked, and they ended up there doing projects in like 12 states at that time.
Yeah.
And then they're like telling me all these things. I'm like, I have no clue what they're talking about. Oh yeah, we're doing this building here and this here. I have no clue what that means.
Man.
But so yeah, went home, ended up getting the job next week, and then starting like a couple weeks later.
So it took about a week to respond. Is that you think a typical?
I think
week or
like
two.
I think it may have been a little quicker than a week, but they sent me an offer. So sent me an offer, and I was like, well, and I had an offer from the Arizona firm at the same time, and I was like, the Arizona is a little bit more. So I called the principal and I said, here's what's going on. I'm not trying to pick a firm based off money, but I feel like we should be a little closer. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, that sounds absolutely fair. So he came up on the offer.
Nice. That's brave to call.
I think just pure honesty is always the best thing to do.
It's nice if you have a different offer.
I wasn't telling him I didn't want to work for him. I just said, hey, I've got this other offer. I really like you guys as well. And I'm just having an issue like picking the firm.
Because they're far enough apart that it was altering the decision or whatever.
Yeah,
they were closer.
They're probably let's say $5,000 off, and he came up $3,000. So I was like, done.
Yeah,
like that broke the gap. Working there, that area's cheaper than Arizona. I think that's a big thing too. Like, yes, you gotta find the right job and stuff, but like what you're making too is a big part of it. Like you're there to, at the simplest point, you're at a job to make money, right? I mean. If you like you just went there and loved it and whatever, sure, but you still have to live. You still have to have a life. A lot of times outside of work.
How much would you sway though? Like, all right, you live in some town.
Okay.
You live where we live, and you don't have a job yet. You get two offers. One at this awesome firm that you feel like you want to be there for a long time, and it is how much lower would it have to be versus like you get this small firm that you're not that interested in, but it's a surprisingly high offer.
To be honest with you, as a new engineer right now, which right now, definitely the one.
Maybe both, I guess.
Okay, so as a young engineer, I would have taken the money.
Really?
Full honesty, yeah.
Do you think that's the move?
Looking back, not at all. Not at all. I got super lucky of the firms that gave me offers, and they did cool, big stuff. Yeah. And that it just blows my mind, right? Like, I came out of school really not knowing much, and that these firms are all giving me offers are just huge. And awesome. I can never thank them enough for all that stuff. But I think now looking like it's way more important to get a job that's doing big like what you want to do. Mm-hmm. If you do want to let's say a commercial firm versus a residential firm.
Yeah.
If you want to design houses your whole life, you should go to that. Money aside, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to do commercial, like going to a house firm isn't going to get you there easily. It's going to be a big jump. So it's like picking the direction you want to go is more important than really chasing the money. Mm-hmm. Now, if one's half the price of the other one, it makes sense. Yeah, but if they're $5,000 off, and I don't think there's any issues calling and just saying here's what I'm trying to figure out, and letting them come to a way to help you or not. right? Like then you'll know. Okay, you know, I talked to him a little bit, and he goes, yeah, we can come up a little bit. I don't see a problem with that. I was like, okay, and he's like, here's what we can do. How does that sound? I said, okay, I'll sign the offer letter and return it. Then the rest was history. So
there you go. What are the
yeah
takeaways then? I guess big picture here. Apply to a lot of jobs. It doesn't matter if they are hiring.
I think that's the biggest thing. Go after jobs that aren't pretty much aren't hiring.
I didn't say then is if you're somewhere local, I think it's fine to stop by places.
100%.
Just give them a call or swing by. Like sometimes it might be awkward and sometimes it doesn't work at all, but it never hurts.
No.
Never.
No, and you'll learn a lot about the firm when you meet the people in person.
Yeah.
Over the phone and email is so kind of disconnected to what they're like in person.
Yeah. You can even ask for like an informational interview. I mean, you 100%. Could just say, hey, I'd like to know more about the firm. I'm finishing 100%. School soon. Yep. You know, I think I want to get into structural engineering.
Do you mind if I take 10 minutes of your time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And say yes.
Every engineer will help you out.
Absolutely.
Almost.
More or less.
Yeah, because they are all there too, right? Like every engineer wants to boast about their firm and try to get young talent in there. So you take the time, and while you're there, I mean, learn everything you can about the firm, and then tell them how you can help them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a new engineer, like if you can come in and be like, "Here's how I can help you," they'll be like, "Oh my gosh."
Oh yeah.
Now you probably don't know how you can help them, right? But just coming in and be like, "I would love to learn this. I'm a super hard worker. I'm driven, and here's how."
Yeah. That was, I
think that's huge.
That was actually something I learned early on. I applied for a firm as an architect.
Yeah.
An early job I applied to.
Okay.
And it was kind of this new firm that was doing a lot of green design 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And the guy said, hey, I'd really like to work for you. It was kind of a cold email, and he responded, okay, how can you make me money?
Wow.
Which was
that's pretty
abrupt,
aggressive. That's aggressive.
But it actually made me think that is sort of the point of this. Like,
yeah.
If you go in and you're doing an informational, or you just want to talk to someone, like, they need to add value to their team, and maybe like a new engineer won't necessarily do that, but that's kind of what you have to sell, is that one, you're enjoyable to be around and like can be a part of this team, but like you can add value.
Yeah.
That guy was a little rough.
Yeah.
But that is the point of it, I guess.
100%. One other thing I found too is firm I ended up working for, kind of come to find out they weren't hiring people off their knowledge, but more off their personality.
And thinking you can train.
And their whole thought was, we can train you if we can train an engineer if they're the right personality. Yeah. If you're outgoing, you're honest, you ask questions, good or bad, like we can train you. Mm-hmm. Period. And that was what their approach was. It was very obvious they hired consistent people that were very similar.
Yeah.
There's some outliers always, right? But they were really into hiring people that were willing to learn, outgoing, and I think showing that in the interview really helped.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether that's gonna help every job, but yeah.
So you got applied positions that aren't even open. Just email people.
Yeah.
Ask for informational interviews. Dress nicer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's given any interview in life, really.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Cover letters are great. Always.
They're annoying.
They're annoying.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And now, like, on the other end of it, like, when was the last time you read someone's cover letter?
I never read that.
Like,
I just see if it comes out word with any spelling errors.
Yeah, like, oh, look, they sent one. Cool, Like, I'm sure there's places that really read them, and HR probably reads them, but...
Okay, and it's no worries if you don't have any jobs to put on there.
Nope.
Put anything you can and be ready to talk about it.
It's
almost better if you just start with a phone call, because then you could sell a little bit of yourself. You can be a personality.
I would say set up your resume to be able to talk about things. Like I put that on there to talk about that experience that not only embarrassed me but showed them that I had some humility.
Yeah.
So I really want to know, like, how much, before we even dive in, how much different was your experience from mine, you think? Do you think it was pretty similar getting out of school? I know you went to architecture school, you did that, and then you went back and got an engineering
degree. Mine was pretty
degree.
different. I never applied to that many firms.
Okay. I like to procrastinate.
Yeah. I had a little more leverage with the architecture.
Okay.
I don't know if I was procrastinator. I moved out here for school.
Yeah.
I applied for an internship with a city.
Okay.
Got it. Did that for a while.
What kind of internship?
I was like looking at sidewalks. It was like.
But what was the internship called?
It was called.
Like an engineering.
It was called engineering.
Okay. And you looked at sidewalks, so that seems very.
Engineering.
Okay.
And then I got an email about a structural civil firm that was hiring
in town.
Okay. Applied.
Where does email come from? From them?
From school. So
From
like
school.
our admin
Okay.
school sends out emails to everybody all the time.
Yeah.
Applied for that. Got that. And that was kind of like the
okay. Well
done. I don't know. Like I sent him. I sent him definitely a cover letter and resume. But that one, I guess, I did have a little internship beforehand. I went to a community college in a small town in Colorado, and I went and knocked on a door of a structural firm, and I said, "Hey, I was an architect for a little bit. I just came here. I'm trying to become a structural engineer. I'm going to the community college right up the hill. Can I come work here for a little bit?"
Yeah.
And they just said yes.
What made you go knock on doors versus calling or emailing?
There was only 2 firms.
Yeah.
And I knocked on the first one, and on day 1 they said yes.
From that, like, you just talked to the person. Okay.
It was a 3-person firm.
Okay. And you just started the next week?
Yeah.
Like that day?
Yeah, I started next week.
Wow.
That was it. They hired me that day. I walked in, I dressed nice-ish. I came with a resume, printed on nice paper, just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
And they hired me.
How do you dress up?
Button down tie.
A tie?
Yeah.
I thought no tie. I thought t-shirt and buttons.
It's a special occasion.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, and that was it. Done deal. Huh. Because the guy said, we've been thinking about getting an intern. We weren't sure, but here you are. So, good to go.
Okay.
It saved them a lot. They didn't have to put up a posting or anything.
Oh, you showed up.
Yeah.
So going to their front doors.
Go to the front door.
Is good.
Well, I don't know.
When you went into these firms, like a small firm, but let's say a bigger firm, when you go in, if you were to go in now, who would you ask for? Do you ask for the HR, someone in HR? Do you ask for a hiring manager? Do you ask straight for the senior principal of the firm?
I'd ask for like a project manager.
Okay.
Like high up, but you don't want to bother the top guy, and maybe he doesn't even care.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he might be beyond the point where he's bothering with hiring. He's responsible for the project managers. Project managers are the ones that need an employee.
Yeah, you probably talk to someone at the front desk and say, "Hey, here's who I am. Who should I talk to?" Or, I'd like to talk to someone about hiring.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was like that first internship, and the other one I said so email, respond, interview. I did get some questions. I got some like
structural questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember.
This was your first like real structural job. Okay.
It was draw a shear steel connection.
Okay.
I think it was draw one shear and give me one moment.
Yeah,
draw a shear and a moment connection.
Not
fixed and pinned. Sorry.
Yeah, so you're detailing something.
Yeah.
Not designing the beam.
They wanted to know, do you conceptually know what that might want to look like?
Okay. Were you? Did you?
Yeah, I had steel.
How?
I had steel.
Okay.
It was just. Yeah. Wouldn't worry.
Bolted, welded. What did you do?
I did. Web bolted.
You tell
connection.
them like, well, you put a bolt in there. That's a pin. You just weld the shit out of it. Like.
I think I did like a shear plate connection with some bolts, and then I did angles top and bottom with that same plate for my moment.
Yeah. What did they say? They're like, yeah. How many people were in the interview?
One person.
Principal?
Just the principal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that was the question? That was the only question?
No, then it was like... No, that was the only one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the question.
Yeah. There was more, maybe.
It was one page, big font. So there was like 4 questions. They printed it. Because I had to draw the detail.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if he was just like, here's a piece of paper.
Oh, no. Yeah,
okay.
No. And he left me alone. He's like, he handed it over. There was a little portion of like a CAD. It was like, draw a box, dimension the box, make sure the dimensions meet this format. So, he put me on a blank CAD, so I had to adjust the properties, the dimensions to make it look correct. So, there's a lot of drafting here, so it's like, can you handle yourself around CAD? I'd done a lot of CAD.
Okay.
The architecture,
there's
plenty of CAD.
I understand. I took one CAD class. And
There's
at
never
that time,
CAD in
I
school,
graduated. I don't know if I would have been able to do that.
Yeah.
Huh.
And
I think that's an important thing too, like understanding like what your job is once you start. Are you going to be drafting, or are you going to be engineering, or
that's
both?
a good question. How much?
That's a
Some
huge
firms
question.
split that.
And I think we both, between the two of us, have been at both.
Yep.
Like where it's like you do no drafting, some hand sketches, and someone else is doing hand drafting, or you are the only one drafting.
Yeah, you can decide which is better for you. You can go into that pretty. I mean,
I'm getting sold on. There's a mixture of both that are good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I like drafting.
I don't like drafting,
yeah.
but I'm getting better at it, so I'm liking it more. But I feel like I could do so much more engineering, and we'd love to hear what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like I could do so much more engineering if I wasn't drafting.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, my drafting currently is like me figuring out how to even do it right.
Yeah.
You know, like Revit, so much to do. I just learned that you could save some time. Like I was doing column splices for a tall building. And I was like, you can actually go to the modification, just do like split, and go under the column and just hit split, and it just splits the column.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Save all sorts of time.
Yeah, then I found out how to just connect it straight up to. I was like typing in like the dimension, trying to get it right up to the bottom of a beam or something like that, and you just hit like attach. No, you should attach and attach to the beam like a column. Yeah, I'll add some things to you. But anyway, the more I'm getting to that, like the better. But it's like, man, I wish I could spend all this time doing like engineering and more projects. I think that's the thing is like the less drafting you're doing, the more projects you can do.
That's true.
But I see the other half of it now too. Is like the more you're in the model and or the drawings and say it wasn't
better understanding of the project.
Yeah.
And probably faster overall. Although your higher billable time should be spent designing.
Yeah.
You're wasting at drafting. I think there's less net drafting time once you're efficient.
And my experience initially was like the drafters were crazy experience.
Yeah.
Like they probably were could be engineers, like 20 plus years of experience of drafting. They've seen everything, right? So like they were way more efficient than me ever doing that in CAD and Revit and everything. So I think it just depends where you're going. I think there's probably a really good mixture of both that you should do when you start, but definitely try to drive design.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge one. Like don't try to get to a firm that's like, here, just do all of our drafting. Like, how are you gonna learn about design if you're just a drafter? Quick enough, right?
Quick enough. Unless maybe if you're doing it for a year or 6 months, it's not a problem to be detailing.
Yeah, but understand that.
It's a good question.
It's a good question. What's the drafting to design ratio?
Yeah.
And the other big thing, we maybe touched in last podcast, but like a big thing is like, who will you be working with? Like
who's your direct supervisor?
Who would be your direct supervisor? My first job was a principal.
Wow.
Yeah, was my direct supervisor. If I had any issues, I went straight to that principal, and that was, looking back, huge.
You know you're someone that knows.
Like huge, like
everything.
Anything I ever had a problem, like he was the guy I was supposed to go to. Whether it was like issues with other engineers, never luckily had to go to him for that. But like if I had issues with other engineers, had issues with clients. Later off, I had had clients I worked with one-on-one, so anything like that, I always had him to go to. He was my guy to go to. I also, the nice thing too was, he saw all that, but then he also was the person that reviewed me each year. So it was kind of, you got to see everything.
Kept it in the loop.
So
nice.
Okay, so anyways, back to that job. So you did some drafting.
Yeah, and then that was it. Passed the test. I can't remember how long it took to get the offer.
Did you feel like the interview went well?
Yeah.
Because you aced the test? Or...
the test was fine. I thought the interview went well. The interviewer was a little awkward.
Have you ever failed the test?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Well, maybe
probably
they
not.
get curved up.
Whatever. Well, the whole class failed. So.
I think... it felt okay. It was awkward because a lot of engineers can be less social or something.
Like there was some,
it was like a little forced, but it was fine.
I've been in those interviews.
Yeah.
You're the talkative one.
Exactly.
And they're sitting there like, hi.
Yeah. Like, well, let me tell you about a time that I improved on my, like, you're asking yourself a question like, my biggest weakness is this, and my biggest strength is this, and my da-da-da.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was forced, but it was worked out.
Okay.
I don't know. And then, like, the next job, I guess, is the one that we both have now.
Yeah.
And actually, I did apply to that.
I've never heard about your interview or how that worked out.
Oh,
how did you find the job? How did you get it? Why?
I applied. just online, I guess.
Okay. How did you find it? You were looking for a new job.
Yeah, I was looking for a new job.
Because you wanted to probably
expand. Yeah, I was looking for getting up, you know.
Okay. Next firm
something
level.
better.
Getting to a bigger firm, getting more experience.
And I guess I just, Googled structural engineers in our town.
Yeah.
And went to the website. There was a job posting up. And I think I just sent it straight to HR. I sent it to, what's your name?
Yeah.
And I think within a day or something, I got a contact through our a manager,
yeah,
the guy we work for now. And,
that's fine.
We had actually just met the week before at a Structural Engineering Association meeting, like quick small talk. So he had kind of already recognized my name.
Yeah. He directly contacted you though.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the principal.
Yeah, no.
The manager.
Yeah, project manager.
Okay.
Yeah, and brought me in for an interview. I don't really remember. I don't think there was any pre-interview stuff. I came in.
Test?
No test.
Okay.
No test. There was the principal, like, webcammed in.
Yep.
And the project manager was there.
Which I think is super, like, new thing that's happening a lot with technology.
We had, I felt like a pretty decent interview. Went well. Apparently there's some other contender.
Apparently it went really well.
You
got the job, so.
It was between me and some other guy, I guess, and...
Not me.
Not
I can't wait. Yeah.
And,
okay.
I whooped. No,
you got the job.
It's good enough, I guess.
Yeah. You feel like that interview went well?
Well, okay. So actually, I think the interview went well. I had a lot to say. I think.
Yeah.
But at the very end, it was very embarrassing. This is the second time something like this is happening in an interview. But we have a sliding door, and then half of it is glass.
Yeah.
Right. So I stood up
for the conference room.
in this conference room.
Yeah.
I stood up and I just walked right into the glass as we were leaving. So to end what felt like a pretty good interview, I showed how clever I was by trying to walk through their pane of glass.
I'm laughing with you, not at you.
And then, to be like
blatantly walked in.
Oh yeah, I just slammed into it.
What did you say?
This is a sturdy wall, sir. Great job with the design.
Did you engineer this glass?
But to make it somehow better, I told him about, as I was walking to the door, I said, this happened another time. I was at some other interview. This is on an on-campus building, and it was like we were in the attic of this weird building with a high slope roof. And I was shoved in this corner talking to one of these giant companies like HR for ACOM or something.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't having any fun. It was a terrible interview. I clearly didn't want to work there. And I was I kind of called it early. It was I think this isn't a good fit, but thank you so much for having me in. And I stood up real abruptly, and the ceiling was right behind me. So I slammed my head on the ceiling, and I shoved forward over the table, and because it bounced me into them.
Oh my!
And then it was just so time to leave at that point. So that was the story I told as I walked to the door. It's so this happens all the time. Anyway, thanks for giving me a shot. I'll never talk to you again, obviously.
They still gave you a job.
Yeah.
You ran into a door.
Yeah. I ran into a window.
A window,
the door
I should say. Yeah.
The door would open.
They still give you so that's a good thing to know, run into a door, that's okay. Or a window.
Yeah.
That's still okay. You know how my interview there went. You were in it. So.
Yeah. I think it was good.
Yeah, I learned about you guys. You learned about me, and then
yeah, that was a cold call, right? You were in town.
I was in town. Yeah, I was moving out here.
Hey, I want to meet all these architects or
engineers. Definitely,
whatever.
I like meeting architects too. A lot easier. They have a lot better conversations.
Yeah, that's true. But so you just came around.
Yeah, I was interviewing in town, and I was like, man, I need to keep calling around and getting interviews. And while I was here, I was like, I'm just gonna start cold calling. Maybe I got an extra day while I'm here.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get in the offices. And I called, and the funny thing is I called before I came out here to the same office and emailed and stuff, never heard anything back. And I was like, I don't know. So I called one more time. Actually, I called 2 or 3 more times until I finally got through. And yeah, he was like, sure, come on in.
Whatever.
We're not hiring at all, but if you're the right fit, we'll hire. Done. Came in, interviewed with you two, and this is a perfect fit. You guys are awesome, and that was that. No hard questions though.
Yeah, we couldn't think of anything.
Yeah,
we're dumb.
Not really. But That would have been fun. That would have been fun to like now talk about these
Yeah,
hard
I
questions
should've
you try to
grilled you
make
with
me
something
sweat through
hard.
or something. But you know, coming in with a couple of years of experience or whatnot at that point,
Yeah,
you can
you're making
could
sure
show
it's a good fit more than
Yeah.
making sure they know what they're doing. If you're coming in with years of experience,
yeah,
you know what you're doing enough.
right,
Coming from a good firm,
exactly,
unless you're a black sheep, whatever. But
right.
you
You can find
probably
out
are.
very quickly.
That's
So
right, that's right.
uh,
That's why there's a trial period, right?
yeah,
Most firms 3 months is like we could just
yeah,
shake this off, shake hands, and go your separate ways.
absolutely. So now it's been
I think that really
years. So
years.
that 3-month period, I guess, went well for both of us.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
I think I feel like we're getting close to our hour here.
yeah,
Honestly.
I think we're close to an
I
hour.
went a lot
podcast.
longer than I
So,
thought.
anyways,
Close.
please
some
let
thoughts,
us know. I think that's like, I mean, I
think
if you want to
covered-
summarize it a little bit, but I feel like we summarized, a lot
I
of
think
it.
it's alright. Yeah, it's alright if your resume is empty.
Yeah,
Get
it's
construction
expected.
experience if you don't have anything else.
Yeah,
One thing I want to say is like if you don't find an internship in school, go do construction.
yeah,
100% always.
yeah.
Like
But it also doesn't matter.
it and also.
I got a job without an internship. The thing that bothered me in school is like people were like, "You got an internship? You got an internship?" It was like a cool thing to have. Like there is definitely a place for it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing to have, but I don't think you have to have it.
I think it's very good.
If there's a
it
good
help.
reason.
Yeah.
If you were like, I just laid on my couch all summer, and that's why I didn't get an internship, like that. I was traveling the country or whatever, like racing my bike, and working kind of part time to be able to do that. So I had a really good reason of why I didn't have an internship. And I remember being asked why I didn't have it, and it was like, well, here's why. And they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
This guy, was very dedicated to something. He's got a good work ethic. That also was a way to
just showing
show
you're
that.
dedicated to something is huge. I've heard that a couple times. It's like
Absolutely.
whatever it is.
It obviously worked. I got a job, so Anyways,
Yeah. Okay.
I think those are the big things, and we love to hear your guys' stories on your guys' first jobs and interviews and kind of what led up to it, and
Yeah.
and maybe our one of our next podcasts we kind of talk about it a little bit. Maybe I'm sure there's some funny stories or whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So
Send us what you got. We got an email now.
we got email.
I can't remember what it is. We'll
Yeah.
put it in everything.
Well, description.
Show
We'll have it
notes or
everywhere.
whatever.
We
I
have
don't know.
Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah,
email.
we'll throw it out there.
We got everything. YouTube, obviously, if you guys are watching on
Yeah.
it or you're listening to our podcast, go check out all of our different social media platforms where we're posting more than just our podcast information on there.
All sorts of fun
we
stuff.
have a lot of fun stuff on structural engineering and just Max and I, right? Like we're fishing buddies. We go fishing all the time, so you go check it out. We got pictures of that on there as well. So if you guys like catching big bass, we catch little ones, so maybe don't look at that.
Go elsewhere.
Go elsewhere, but so thanks for joining us this week, and
Let's close this thing down.
you guys rock.